Oh man, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? What's up? Just getting in my thoughts, getting in my mood. I know there's nobody really going on right now. It's kind of crazy, right? I think it's very interesting when most people don't appreciate life as they should. Most people don't even understand how short and how vulnerable we are as people. A lot of people don't understand how futile our petty grievances can be. I think that it's very interesting when you go through your day to day life and how the human brain is programmed to ignore certain things, to ignore monotony, to ignore status quo, to ignore potential things. I mean, sometimes your brain picks it up, but you're not going through the same level of danger as your ancestors were hundreds, even thousands of years ago. Remember, technology disconnects you from a lot of things. You have literally a whole generation who grew up with cell phones. Not even just cell phones, smartphones, a whole generation that are adults that grew up with smartphones. They don't understand or have a concept without it. It's no different than speaking of loss, speaking of danger. You don't typically have to hunt your food. Some people hunt because of the sport or hunt because they can. It's not a necessary thing. Some people may go to a lake or go camping, but you're not doing that because of survival. I think that a lot of times, we don't understand what perspective is anymore in the modern day world. I'll have people speak to me, and when I tell them there's some things, even though we got into a little debate, it was a funny little debate between me and the Padawan today. And he asked me, "Why don't you become a state trooper?" Blah 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 blah. I said, going back to the academy at this point in my career is kind of beneath me. Why would I go back to status quo? Because traditionally, no matter what law enforcement agency you go through on a local or state level, if you're trying to join the state police, that's how it is in Maryland at least, probably true for most state troopers, or you're going to have to go through that trooper academy because that's their tradition. If you want to be a part of something, that's their tradition. And what occurs to me quite often is that black people do not understand the concept of there are things beneath us. There are levels, there are different levels. And this being said, putting things in perspective, I'm not 25, I'm 41. I'm not going to put myself in the academy for what? Again, to start out as a regular officer? Too many years of experience. Too much style, guile, training, and everything. For somebody who's younger and they went to one department and want to be a state trooper, it would make more sense. But at the same time, when you're at a different level of work and level of education, you don't see PhDs going back to high school to learn again. You're seeing them to go to teach or in college to teach. See, in our community, we'll say there's levels to this shit, but we don't want to believe that there's levels. We don't want to believe that there's some things that are beneath what we have accomplished and done. We think that everybody's on the same wavelength. You should treat everybody with equal respect, equal dignity. But there are certain people who you have to remember there's not too much equality in the world. There are some people who are going to be your superiors, whether physically, intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, technically. It's not saying that, oh, I can't compete. It's actually giving homage to people and saying, this person's on another level or I'm on another level. Even in parenting, people don't understand there's a difference between being a parent and being the child. You can never truly be your child's friend because you got to love them even after they do stupid shit. You're going to be responsible for them. The child you bring in this world, guess what? That's your responsibility. That child is going to be a blessing or a curse because of your actions and or the lack of your actions. There's levels to this shit. There's a lot of people who don't understand the level of responsibility that can be carried on in life. When you're responsible for children or other individuals, there has to be a certain level, has to be a certain mindset. It's like what I told people, like, I'll never ask anyone to do anything I haven't done or am not willing to do. And like I mentioned the debate earlier, there's certain things I said and I was correct about. I'm not going to go back to basic training. It's beneath me. I should be looking for bigger and better things. I should be looking for more professional, more teaching, more learning, more tactical. A lot of people, especially in the black community, don't like to hear something's beneath them. I'm quick to tell you, there are some things that are beneath me. A petty squabble. There are some times that I'm not going to lie to you, I'm with the shits. And I'll let a person humor me because I get a lot of people who think they're just plain and simple smarter than me. What's up, some man? What's up, D Scott? Anybody else in the building, let me know. Put the banner up if anybody feel compelled. There's the Cash App. Uh, I'm demonetized, I guess. So, hey, support your black content creators. Might not like Fresh and Fit, but hey, here's the thing. How many content creators who are anti male and anti black male are making money hand over fist? What's up, Artisan? Hopefully you're free tonight because, I got to get some shit off my chest about that bullshit Harley Quinn. It was entertaining at first, but then this season is just so goddamn gyno, so feminist. Yeah, I expect a little bit of it, but there, as a lifelong comic book fan like yourself, there's some shit I'm just like, I call bullshit on, especially when you have a whole mythos that challenges what the fuck I saw. Um, Now where was I? Sometimes I'm with the shits when I have the temperament to deal with a person like that on that level. Sometimes I have it. Other times, I can be like, yo, fuck this shit. I don't want to hear none of this ghastly bullshit. I don't want to hear none of it. Then there's others, like, for example, yesterday, I was speaking to a young lady, and she was talking about how men should go to war and do the work and the labor, but women should be queens. And I'm like, excuse me? Excuse me. I got to do my Baltimore. School me. School me. Excuse me. And I have to literally say some things to get her thoughts. And I was like, yo, oh, I'll get to that in a minute. Simply deep. And what made me kind of bugged out is some of the sugar honey iced tea or shit she was saying. When she tried to show some type of intellectual prowess against me or superiority, is what I'm taking it as. Like, well, well, women can subconsciously or psychically imbue men with. I said, men were building shit and there were no women around. Men were hunting and there were no women around. And I asked her this question. I said, okay, since you want to go there, give me one woman. Give me a group of women or a woman who started the civilization. So she gives me this obscure name. And in true gyno fashion, she couldn't give me any evidence whatsoever. And she told me some crazy stuff like the Bible condones, quote unquote, sexual assault or rape. And I said, well, one of King David's sons was, sexually assaulted his half sister and was put to death over it. When I asked her what scripture did you see where this was condoned, she couldn't give it to me. And she wanted to try to dominate. Like, no, you can't say. I'm like, look, I'll call you back later, shorty, because you're trying to outsmart me, but making yourself look stupid. And the fact of the matter is that it goes back to what I'm saying about there's levels to the shit. Don't convince me of something that you already know. I brought enough proof and firepower to win this little debate. It's like wrestling with your 3-year-old son. He thinks he has a chance. He thinks he might even beat you, but you're humoring him. And this is the whole thing about you're not a respecter of people. You think that the world revolves around you when in actuality you're not the center of the universe. Some people think that I might be arrogant, but I'm not arrogant. I'm confident. And as a black man, I think that there's a lot of times when you can show how intellectually sound you are, but you'll never, ever, ever get a chance to be smart just out the gate. See, how the world really works for us is this: everyone else gets the benefit of the doubt to be smart or intellectually sound. We have to prove that we're intellectually sound because we're thought of being stupid at the first place. I do have to say, partially, is that it's our fault. Small part of it. Yes, I understand the racist rhetoric that goes around for decades and actually centuries. But part of it is because we do not put our best and brightest ahead of us. We don't exalt and say, hey, that guy's a brilliant guy. We should protect him at all costs. We don't do that. We don't value those people. That's why it's so easy for our best and brightest to leave this community and worship like gods. That's why we get this snarky, redundant attitude, especially when it comes to our women who think they can just say whatever out their mouth and they think that they have the moral or the intellectual high ground automatically. I don't know about you, but sometimes that can be rather insulting. It's downright insulting. I think that being actually thought provoking and thoughtful should be one of our strongest traits. But nowadays, it's like asking for too much. I know that I'm rambling a little bit, but you got to enjoy it. You got to love it. I think that there comes a time in every man's life when he realized what's important. He realizes that, you know, they're small things. And shout out to Simply Deep, because if you're a pro wrestling fan like myself, we lost, you know, two big names in the business. Yesterday, we lost um, Terry Funk, a legend in pro wrestling, former NWA World Champion, the godfather, if not the grandfather of hardcore wrestling. One of, I think, the only two brothers to hold the NWA World title. I think so. And you just a few hours ago, today we lost Bray Wyatt. And remember when people said, well, this COVID stuff is fake, blah, 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 blah. People don't understand. COVID is changing people's health from severely healthy people and then damaging your heart. And come to find out, his death was the result of a heart attack when he contracted COVID. 36 years old, man. $36. But we're worried about what? We're worried about very small, minuscule things. Things that don't matter. Man leaves behind a wife and children, and also a wife and child from his previous marriage. You think petty stuff matters? You think any of that stuff matters now? Your petty arguments, disagreements? No, no. Many of us don't even get. Shout out to electrician for the $10 holler, man. A lot of us don't even get the chance to right that was wrong. A lot of us are not focused. What's your legacy? I mean, you look at Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt, 36, made quite a big legacy for himself. And one thing that I'm gonna appreciate is that I'm glad it's not drug related. Thank God. But at 36, he has a bigger legacy than most men twice his age. Most men three times his age. Are we gonna let legacy? Are we gonna let things like this stop us? This is the reason why earlier I said there's some things beneath us. Are we gonna stop moving forward? Are we gonna have nothing but regrets? There comes a time when men have to look back and reflect on their life and say, did I give my best? Did I try my hardest? Did I put forth an honest and valid effort? I don't want to be that guy one day in retirement that said I could have done more. I don't want to be that guy that has to look back and say, you know what? Instead of being focused on this woman who just wanted me to just get a regular job and settle down, when I still had the time, the effort, and the energy and the strength to do it, I should have done it. You understand? You don't want to be that person with regrets. I remember back in the day, guys used to be like, "Well, I don't know if I should talk to that girl." The worst she could do was say no. I don't know if I should apply for this job. The worst they could say is no. Too many times we spend too long having someone else tell us our value. Think about that. People regulating us. People putting us on entry level. We're not the ones saying, hey, why can't I dictate myself? Why can't I see where I rank? You know, what was it that William Ernest Henley say? I am the master of my fate, the captain of my soul, which means it is up to me who determines what my future brings and holds, by the way I see life, by the way I prepare myself to face reality. Invictus by William Ernest Hemley. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pits from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutches of circumstances, I have not winced nor cried out loud. Under the bludgeoning chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horrors of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the stroll. I, the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul. How many people can boldly, and I do mean boldly, walk in life saying shit like this? How many? How many? You got dudes out there scared, afraid to say there are some things beneath me. There are some things I'm above. I'm not above reproach, but I'm above stupidity. You feel me? How many times in your life can you tell a person, "I am the master of my, I am the master of my fate, the captain of my soul"? How many times can you dictate to others? How many times do you get to do that in life? How many times can you tell people, win, lose, or draw, I did it my way? Shout out to Frank Sinatra. I wanna know how many people can say I have the audacity to do it my way. When do you get to be the champion? Oh, that's one of the posts we have here. My brother, my champion, my savior. That's a really bold statement if you think about it. That's some really bold shit. We're scared to tell people certain shit is underneath us. We're scared to be as bold as a lion. Are we afraid? Are we inadequate? Are we truly powerful beyond belief? Or are we just cowardly? Which one is it? I don't like to be average. Sorry. Some things are beneath me. If anybody wants to join, they can join for a few. If not, might shut this down. Hopefully, what I said makes you, think a little bit more. For everybody who's listening, I don't care if it's 9 people to 900 people. Hopefully, you could be bold. Hopefully, you could be encouraged. What's up, AB? What's up, Naaman?
Hey, what's going
Oh
on?
yeah. Hey, what's going on, AB?
Yeah,
Uh,
that was a shocker.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
I
Uh,
was
I don't follow. Ray Wise death, you mean?
Bray
yeah,
Wyatt death, and I mean you're still reeling from
Terry Funk.
Terry Funk, and I mean
I
Terry.
wouldn't say reeling about Terry because remember, Terry lived a long ass life. He was in his 70s.
I mean it's sad because it's death, but
Hmm.
it's
Uh
even
huh.
it's even sadder when you're reeling from one death and you get hit with another.
Yeah.
Been there, done. Been there, and still going through it.
And 30 and people talked about this COVID shit, and he contracted COVID, and with it, we literally had two fucking scientists come on the panels, both Dr. Dunbar and Nicole Ali, come on
Uh.
panel and tell people
Mm-hmm. I mean,
how.
we even lost. We almost lost you, man.
Mhm.
I get I still get fucked up just thinking about that. You
Hmm.
understand that?
People don't
I get fucking emotional when I think about that. I can't help but cry because I almost lost my brother here. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, people don't think about it.
Shit, now I'm crying now. Uh,
I went from lifting 500 pounds to about a week
whew.
couldn't lift a bowl of soup.
Damn.
That's
And,
how bad it hit you because you were like one of the first cases to get that shit.
and one of the hardest hit. I lost a lieutenant.
Hey.
I lost a lieutenant to this. I lost one of my good friends, one of my better friends, who was my barber, to this shit.
Man.
God damn.
I People say this was fake, and you hear people, oh, this is just the flu and all this shit, and blah, blah, blah. And see, we need to come up. You know what? This is the first time we're gonna come up this. I'm gonna come up with this word called nigga splaining. Stop Negro splaining me, because niggas don't want to listen to proof. What
They
did it
sure
do?
don't.
What did it do? Marcus try to tell me, being a cop, about what happened and how is drug dealers a violent crime? No, it's not. Can it lead to violent crime? Sure, but it's not a violent crime within itself.
Right.
And when you look at Bray, from what they were telling us, his father, Mike Rotunda, aka IRS,
IRS. Yeah.
Uh
called
huh.
Triple H and told him what happened because he was having complications with COVID and had a heart attack. It affected his heart.
I mean, how much? I mean, that just lets you know you got to take that shit seriously because who knows when you might get hit hard by it because dude, you've been hit hard with another. You got hit with a second. With some other bad news on top of this COVID shit.
Hmm. COVID
Mm.
affects your whole body. It affects it. To me, I think it changes a little bit of that cellular structure.
It complicates any tissue. But the thing is, even if you recover from it, you end up with some scar tissue in those organs that have been affected, which compromises your quality of life. I mean, I've got an aunt who works as an ICU nurse, you know,
Hmm.
and I've been talking to her about it, because she had to get vaccinated. My uncle who got vaccinated as well as a result, and she was telling me you got to be careful out there, even though I'm not vaccinated, but like I tell people, hey, it's like BJ said, vaccine, don't make vaccine, mask, don't wear the mask. Just make sure you take care of yourselves. Me, I don't leave the house without wearing a mask, even though I mean, even my counselor who got vaccinated, he still contracted that shit. And even now, even though I take the mask off in front of him, I try to maintain a certain distance. Nothing personal. I mean, I've been tested twice, and apparently, like, was it the testing kit they have where you put it down your nose? got a bad reaction from that, so I have to find another way to test it. But
I'm gonna tell,
I admit I'm not vaccinated, but I don't leave the house without my mask.
I'm not gonna lie to you. You know,
Mhm.
a lot of people play stupid games. A lot of people
Come
get.
again?
A lot of people play stupid games,
Hey. And they win stupid prizes.
and
Yeah.
what happens is it's like you look at guys, and you know I'm not blaming Bray for contracting COVID or nothing because it can happen to anybody. Um, a lot of it goes back to what I said earlier when I did my little, I guess, rant or rumble.
Hmm.
What type of legacy are you leaving behind?
Mm-hmm.
36. He has a hell of a legacy.
Oh yeah, legendary without question.
And
One of the greatest characters of all time.
yeah, in very short time. You got to
Probably
think
the
about it.
probably
got-
the closest thing we'll ever get to the Undertaker.
Yeah, just as charismatic.
Actually, his character was more like it was a repackaged. Do you remember Danny Spivey? He had a character
Waylon
that was
Mercy,
based off Cape. Yes,
Cape
that's
Fear.
where the original idea. Because Cape Fear. Because you saw the attire and everything, similar to that.
And I mean, he was very enigmatic like The Undertaker, which a lot of people value.
Yeah.
But you get people who are not bold in life. I'm not saying that you got to be the greatest and the latest all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but what's your legacy? There are times. How many times in life people say you can't do this? I told the
Plenty of
Padawan,
times.
I like the fact that you're running. Don't don't overdo it. Like I run every day. I said you don't want to run it every day. Your joints are gonna hate you.
The pounding and everything. I mean, the pounding just fucks up your knees and your ankles.
I said you should do 3 times a day. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm good. That's sweet stuff. I said, okay. I know we all love David Goggins, but nobody points out when David Goggins talk about his injuries.
Mm-hmm. How old is he?
They don't listen to that. Yes, I do believe in being bold, but I believe in being smart too. I said, why do you think I came back for certain shit when I had a tear in my knee? Thank God I didn't need surgery and it healed on its own properly. But you can be fucked up because of shit like that.
How old is the Padawan?
Huh?
How old
20.
is the Padawan? Oh. No,
How old is he?
he'll learn in a couple of years.
Yep.
How old is he?
20.
Oh yeah, he's not there yet.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not.
Them
He's
knees will
just
start to remind you, like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
he hard
You
headed.
gotta condition yourself.
And it's nice that he's getting into his fitness.
Right.
So does my son run. Like I told him, I'll sprint. I'll do wind sprints. I'm not long distance running anymore. That's what cars are for.
Right.
I mean, you got to, if you're going, that's why we got into the little discussion about there's some things that are beneath me. I'm not going to the academy. Would you go, why don't you go to the, they probably teach you something different. I said, no, MPTC are the same requirements that I'm doing, that I did when I went to the academy, are the same requirements you're going to do in the in the state academy. Only
Mm-hmm.
difference is you got to live at the barracks. That's beneath me. If I want to live at the barracks, I would have stayed in the army.
Damn right.
I said that would have been cool when I was 21, 41. Hell no. My mentality is different. You're still too young to understand the difference in your mentality.
I mean,
Each
like
decade,
it's like go ahead, sorry.
each decade, your brain probably changes on you a little bit because the shit you thought you wouldn't agree with, you agree with. Yes, I'm still physical. I'm still strong. I will still sprint, but
Mhm.
I'm not going to be the same guy. Like there are some things beneath me. That's like me.
Hell yeah.
That's like Dr. Tiason Johnson saying that I need to go back to high school to learn something. You would look at him like that don't make a hillbilly sense.
No,
No,
not at
that's
all.
because you got things like the internet. You can go to the library and improve your knowledge there.
I mean, when you're a professor in college, usually most of your professors are going to be master's level and beyond.
Uh-huh.
There are people with dual doctorates or multiple doctorates. There are some PhDs in biology also have MDs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like I tried to explain to him, well, no, it's you just being arrogant saying that. No, see,
Nope.
you gotta understand something that black people don't have a concept of things being beneath them. That's why nigga shit is prevalent in our community.
Oh yeah.
That's the truth.
When I say some things are
What else?
beneath,
No, man.
and this is how I caught him, and he didn't realize, and we were with his friend, and his friend was driving a car and laughed. I said, would you live in the projects? He's like, no. His friend laughed because he was like, got him. I said, why? Well, it's dangerous. Oh, we have families and communities in the projects. Oh, so it's beneath you. No, it's just dangerous. No, no, no. It's beneath you.
We're not ratchet.
Stop trying to argue like a female and just admit that I was right.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
Because
what
there should be some times that are certain things beneath you. I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody. I'm not saying that I'm greater. But there's some things I should not be trying to go to a 20-year-old club at 41.
right.
Oh no, my clubbing days are over, and I barely went when I was in my 20s. So
Exactly. I'm not going. If I do go to a lounge, it's going to be an upscale lounge with working, executive level people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Because if I go places now, it's not necessarily for fun. It's probably going to be more because of connections in business. If they have pretty women there, that's an added benefit. But you should at least give the movers and shakers your cards.
Yeah.
Always have business cards on the ready.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I sure am. This coming week, my wife gave me the okay to do DoorDash and Uber Eats, so I'm getting some cards printed. If I gotta write them by hand, I'll write them by hand and get the word out about what we're doing, and I will pay for this trip to Chicago some kind of way.
All right.
all in due time.
DoorDash and Uber is not a bad hustle.
No,
I mean, our PM's been talking about that actually.
it's
That's
it's
what
a
he's doing.
hustle.
That's what he said he's gonna be doing.
And to go to Vistaprint, you'll get like 500 to 1,000 cards for only $50, if that.
Well, if someone can hit me with a cash app in the chat and help old snowman get along, I can do that. I can get some printed
That Vista.
before I go DoorDashing and Uber Eating tomorrow. The caveat that my wife put on me, as long as we're not shelling out a lot of cash to keep everything together. And I was supposed to get a call from Circle K today about a job. That call never came in. And that's when I went to Jody and said, can I do this? Can I really, really do this? And, she said, I don't care what you do to bring in money. You can get sponsors. You can do this. You can do that. As long as you are helping to bring in money and you feel comfortable enough doing it. See,
mm-hmm.
here's what a lot of women do not understand about being a helpmate. A helpmate, a wife, a partner wants you to succeed. at any and all
Mhm.
costs. They will ride with you 10 toes deep, not just down, but deep. If they have a piece of constructive criticism, they will give it to you, but they'll give it to you out of love. And that's what my wife does, and that's what my children do. So when she came back at me with that tonight, all I have to say is it's on. A lot of stuff is going to get put on hold, and I know it needs to until after September 2nd. But I'm not giving up what I love to do, especially with the confirmation I got tonight about the support I'm
Congrats.
getting from my family.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything else falls in time, but you just need to have the patience to deal with it.
And that's been one of my biggest downfalls. I had no patience these past 2 years because I wanted to get back into working, especially after what I went through with the state of Indiana and the illnesses themselves. Tonight, I really learned today and tonight, I really learned how to be patient and how to dive back into what I do and what I love to do.
Mhm.
And the biggest gift that I got tonight that Jody told me, and I can safely say that it's in process. You all have heard me mention Cheyenne, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Mhm.
Hold on to your seats, gents. She wants me and Jody to officially adopt her.
Nice.
Nice.
And when she told me that,
Congratulations.
when Jody told me that, I was crying. But I also know that involves a conversation with Sonia, and it involves a conversation with Dakota, my son. And I
Mhm.
told Jody, you talk to them for the most part because you've been there longer than I. I've only been around the past 5 years. But after Cheyenne's accident, I we pretty much know and after Cheyenne's accident that she had recently, and she spent the night here, and the talk that she had with Jody, and then Jody talked to me tonight, the ante has been upped.
Yeah.
I'm about to put my GoFundMe in the chat also. So this what I got my cash up in the chat. If anybody can help there, that would be great. But the big one is me or getting help and funding a trip to Chicago because I haven't gotten a sponsor yet. And they're talking about revenue sharing, and that's cool, but I want to be sure that everything is covered.
Damn.
And that's huge for me. That's huge.
No, I mean, like, sometimes you gotta consult somebody. So, like, if they got any, if there's gonna be paperwork involved, at least have somebody in your corner who can read it, who can look up the contracts and see if everything's on the up and up. An
Yep.
accountant or financial advisor, shit like that.
Well, I got a call. I'm placing a call to the organization tomorrow because times run out to get as prepared as possible. I'm already ready. I got someone that's sending me a laptop that's very, very powerful. So I can also provide a look in the booth from where Jody and I will be sitting. And I think there's going to be, I think I have a crew list of 5 that will join us. So lots happening.
If you need a pinch hitter, don't be afraid to call.
I think I'm gonna need one pretty soon. I'll let.
And his name is Vicala.
I will let everyone know. But Charles, I caught the tail end of what you were talking about, and it was said in Coming to America, times must and do change. And so do people. If I missed part of that, I'm sorry.
Nah.
But
So
it's
Yeah,
the
we
truth, though.
just lost a couple wrestling legends.
Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk.
Yeah. I still remember Terry when they were actually in Indianapolis, Indiana, ironically. I believe it was a Raw, and I
Marcus.
remember as a kid they Terry Funk and
Captain
Mick
Jack.
Foley. Captain Mick Foley. They did this angle where they threw him off. The ramp and garbage cans, and you back then I thought they were injured for real.
Yeah.
And I look back at that now, like they probably put him up to it.
They
Mhm.
put him up to it, but then again, I remember before that, like months prior to that, the Outlaws. What they did is they grabbed the referee and used him to bump. They grabbed the referee on the top of the mat, at the top of the ramp. They grabbed the referee, grabbed an arm each, swung him forward. That bumped Cactus, who was a dude love at the time, off the ramp, and he went through 2 tables.
Mm.
And this was on a night of Raw, and of course, what you're talking about when they knocked, Cactus and Chainsaw, because remember, Terry Funk went by the name of Chainsaw Charlie at the time. That
Mhm.
led to the first ever dumpster match at WrestleMania 14, in which they beat the New Age Outlaws for the tag titles.
New Age
That was a
Outlaws.
good match.
Yeah.
That's still available on. Well, oh wait, sorry, I'm outside of the U.S. So in your case, as Jim Cornette would say,
Peacock.
you guys have. No, he doesn't say Peacock. You got to watch on the cock.
Oh well.
He hates it. He hates Peacock. That's NBC, right? Peacock.
Yes.
That's NBC.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's the symbol logo is the peacock. But he's like, I can't watch my beloved WWE only except on the cock. And he also riles about Spectrum. And understand he's in Kentucky,
Yeah.
so so he riles about Spectrum and he complains about it. But
Complains about
also,
everything.
he's been recently complaining about this new TV he got a new flat screen TV he had to get to replace his old TV. Funny as shit, he's.
I love it. Come back, go on.
I did.
Oh, what's even wilder is like the ads they have on the shows,
Mhm.
and he just has to go completely left.
I got.
I also like to hear.
I want Charles to. I want to be sure Charles hears this one. Last night I went live after I had some problems doing my baseball game, and I was excited for. Well, last night I went live and I was talking about my fight with cancer, and one of my buddies said, "Get it out and move on." And that kind of hit me wrong. You just don't move. You just don't move on from damn near dying twice. That's tough. That was tough to take.
No, man. I'm sorry to interrupt you about that, but I think I know who we're talking about, and I think that would be best to be discussed behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Instead of out here, you should be discussing that with that person behind closed doors.
Yeah. What brought me to today, I was waiting on a call from a possible job, and they said they were going to call today, and the call never came. And that.
Yeah, I hate that.
Until I got
Yeah, you got to give it some leeway sometimes. I've had that myself.
Until I got the news that Jody gave me tonight, I was like really, really down for a while.
Sometimes it happens like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens like that, and Depression for black men is crazy.
And the littlest thing, I think that'll be my next subject. The littlest thing can set you off or set you down.
Yeah.
I'll discuss that this weekend. Sometime this weekend.
All right, Sam.
I'll go by and see the folks at Circle K tomorrow to find out what happened. But I know I'm hustling like a motherfucker tomorrow. If I don't walk in this bad boy until 8 o'clock or later, I'm going to get this done.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Gotta
get this
do,
trip paid for.
gotta do my fun run tomorrow. Two 15 and a quarter needle shots in the arm.
Yikes.
Ah,
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I was on a stream, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and I showed old passport old G my my arm, and he's like,
Mhm.
"That's some grown man shit right there."
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just used to it, man. It's just
And what
you
gauge
you
is
got
that?
15 and a quarter.
Damn.
Yeah,
what are we talking about here?
Needles, because
Dialysis?
yeah,
Oh,
they have to stick you. They have to put stick some needles in your veins because
mhm.
your kidneys are not working. Your blood's not getting cleaned the way it's supposed to. So
Yeah.
the machine cleans the blood for you.
I've
Mm.
seen plenty of documentaries about that actually, so I'm quite familiar.
Let me get on, guys. I'm gonna
Mhm.
crash. I gotta be up early. I know Jody's gonna be up early.
Yeah, I'm about to crash too.
But
Don't forget to rinse your mouth with the one glass of penis water. Thank you.
Ugh.
Lord.
Thank you. No,
Thank you,
that
Chris
was an
Bass.
ad by Chris Rock.
Chris
Chris
Bass.
Bass.
That's Chris Bass.
Snowman in the morning is brought to you by penis water. For the
Ugh.
nubs and
Gotta
swollen
find
butt.
that ad. I'm gonna find that.
Oh, by the way, AB,
Yeah.
you remember that thing I told you about from Mortal Kombat X? I sent you the link if you saw it in one of your ads. But if you didn't, here's how the conversation went.
Well, let me say goodnight, gentlemen. Thank you,
Right.
Charles. Thanks, AB, and
Right.
thanks, Sick. I appreciate you guys.
Right. You have a good evening. Anyway, Mortal Kombat X, Kenshi versus Johnny Cage. Kenshi begins the conversation by pulling on the sword and going and says, a face off? Like one of your movies? Johnny Cage looks at him and says, did you like him? Only thing that Kenshi could respond by saying was, blindness has its benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you gotta face somebody like Baraka or
Ugh.
Melina without her mask.
I'm trying which one's uglier. Probably a tie. No,
I don't know. When I was a kid, I used to think that we used to think that Melina, so Kitana, no, Melina and Baraka were like
Mm-hmm.
were an item or something like that. Until we realized no, he's beneath her. She was actually an experiment. Although she's kind of confused about who she is and her own identity.
Oh,
Rejected
it's all
that.
changed in MK1. She's actually Katana's older twin sister.
Yeah, it's basically MK1 picks up where MK11 ends. The aftermath
Mhm.
story, that is.
Yeah,
Because remember, there's an aftermath story after the main story.
yeah, that's pretty
It's kind
good.
of like, yeah. Well, hey, let's not forget. I mean, it's like it all leads up to somewhere because you got to go all the way to MK9 because MK9 is like a restart of everything.
Yeah,
So you play
reboot.
MK9, you play the story mode from there. Then the story
Yeah,
mode picks up from MKX some 20 years later.
MK9 is pretty much a retelling of Mortal Kombat 1 through 3.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
With elements from MK, which one is it? Alliance, Dark Deception,
Mm-hmm.
and Armageddon.
Well,
There's some Shaolin monks in there.
Armageddon is when everybody dies,
Yeah.
and it's like right before Shao Kahn kills Raiden. This one is a completely new history.
It's revised.
You know, Liu Kang's the Raiden.
Yeah. Raiden's Liu Kang.
Instead of Shao Kahn, you have General Kahn.
General Shao.
General Shao.
Scorpion is actually
Khan is the title.
Is not Hanzo Hasashi in this new universe.
It might be
No, it's Kuai Liang from what I heard.
Kuai Yang. So,
I've actually seen the first like 17 minutes of the story. It's pretty interesting.
it's gonna be. I like the gameplay, but General Shao and Dell, that shit was wicked.
Mm-hmm.
I like Baraka. Baraka was killing it. If you look at that, I forget which trailer it is, but Baraka was killing it. Reptile looked sick too.
Now he could transform human form and reptilian form. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he swallowed up Melina like she was a snack. I'm like, damn, and spit her out.
Spit her out with acid and shit. And crushed her.
That's exclusive to 9th generation consoles, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually,
Just like Tekken
I heard
8.
it's coming from the Switch. I don't know how they're gonna put
Tekken
it on
8
there,
is,
but it's coming to the Switch.
Wait a minute. You mean the upgraded Switch or
The Nintendo Switch.
did they upgrade this? Yeah, Nintendo. Didn't they upgrade the Switch?
Mm.
Hmm.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I know they're not running on Unreal Engine 5, which is the latest one. They're running on Unreal Engine 4.
Which one? Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, the 11 and the other games are pretty much ran on well, the NetherRealm versions are ran on Unreal Engine 3.
I mean, the graphics look pretty damn good.
Yeah.
The graphics are good. The gameplay is good, but my question is, what's left? I mean, there's always got to be some DLC packs they got to bring out eventually.
They already showed the first DLC pack. They're bringing Omni-Man, Homelander,
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Peacemaker,
Takeda,
Quan Chi, and somebody else.
and
Ermac.
Ermac. Shang Tsung's in the game as well.
Yeah.
Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa. He always. You can't beat him. You can't beat his performance or his portrayal of Shang
Your
Tsung.
soul is mine. He was so iconic. They brought him back for the They brought his likeness as an older man and as a young man to the game.
Right.
That was pretty slick.
And that trailer is still a badass. I still go back and watch that trailer. The original Shang Tsung reveal trailer. Rem K11. That's a badass trailer.
Your soul is mine. And I'm gonna tell you what was crazy.
I'm still trying to unlock that win animation. That win animation is just as good as Fatality. Your soul is.
Yeah. Like some of the brutalities were hard to get. Like I think it's gonna be funny because I just want to get Omni-Man and fuck people up with him.
Yeah.
I can imagine what his hold's gonna be. He just rips you.
He's
in
probably
half.
just gonna crush your face.
Crush your face or just rip you in half.
Now that reminds me, I gotta pick up my tablet because I still play Mortal Kombat on my tablet.
It's amazing how tablets have more memory. Like one of your pictures that I could take with my iPad has more memory than some of the computers back in the 90s.
Oh
Shit.
yeah.
I mean, I speaking of games, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and he's a little bit younger than he's younger than me. He's the second half millennial, but his first gaming console was a PS2. But I asked him, but he's well versed in the history and everything, so So I asked him, "Do you remember what it was like back in the fifth and sixth generation console days? Back when there was no day one patches and everything. There was no glitches in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Games weren't being rushed. You had the actual finished product in the disc." He was like, "Yeah,
Them days are over.
I know those days are over. It's just like it seems like like a lot of the games like were rushed too soon
Mm-hmm. It's
and were
not
released
necessarily
like
the
right
game
after
developers; it's
Cyberpunk.
the publisher.
Yeah, it's the publisher, and it's like because you understand how because especially if the publishers are in house. No, sorry, if the developers are in house,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes the public, especially like because sometimes they could just like push it, they'd like push it too hard, and like they keep rushing them, and developers are telling you, look, we don't have time, we don't have time, we need more time, we need more time. There's a few glitches we found in the game, we need to pass that up. This, that. Don't worry, we'll just release and put it as a day one patch. It's not that simple, especially the size of the patches they got to put up
Yeah. Charles,
or the size of the updates.
have you looked at Madden 24 yet?
Not yet.
I'm kind of waiting for I've always been an NCAA guy. I can't like.
Will there ever be an NCAA game coming out?
Maybe.
I mean, especially what happened was it like remember was it because of like the likeness cases and everything
Yeah. But they said all that the game there's supposed to be an NCAA game coming out this year.
Yeah,
by EA or somebody else?
I think
By EA. I just want
Well,
my
they need to
bowl
also
game.
do
I
something
just
for the
wanted my
NBA
bowl
Live game while they're at
games,
it.
and I can just spice up a team and take them to the bowl, take them to the playoffs.
that
So
used
you
to
mean
be fun.
to the Final Four?
Yeah. Nah,
Where we're talking NCAA football or NCAA basketball?
Football.
Okay,
But that
football.
used to
Sorry.
be fun. You could go to a bowl game and you can create a character or a team,
Yeah,
and you could recruit.
recruit more characters at the same caliber. Of course, my favorite position is running back. Run for about 1,000 or 2,000 yards in the season. Win that Heisman Trophy. Then, well, this is back in the day. Then I would draft myself to Madden.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. Draft my character to Matt and then be like a first round draft pick and shit.
Right.
Be like, this guy's a superhuman. And that used to be fun. You know what I think? They ought to bring back memory cards. So, I mean, because your whole profile, like, let's say you play like a game like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, and you got a certain clothes or certain look to your fighters,
Right.
a certain button formation. I think they should bring those back because it'd be so much easier.
Mm-hmm. Well, on MK11's case, you're your own variant of that character.
Say that again.
In MK11's case, your own variant of that character, so you can customize the moveset.
Yeah. And the
Just like in Injustice 2.
and the clothing, like I remember one in Injustice when the Justice League movie came out, they gave out the movie clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Injustice 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Injustice 2 story mode could be a good movie. Could be a movie by itself.
Mm-hmm. One
I
and two.
saw the anime movie for Injustice on HBO.
That's
That
the
was
funny
good.
part. Injustice 1 and Injustice 2 was way better than that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. The story mode in those games. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Both of those story modes was way better than that movie by themselves.
Yeah.
And that's why when they went through the story, it was like very intricate. But then again, NetherRealm is known for their stories.
Yeah.
The comic book, oh my God, that was one of the best comic books for 5 years running. Because they started like 5 years when it first happened,
Mm-hmm.
and then they added up on going into that.
Yeah.
So for 5 years, that was probably one of the best comics out.
It's a good story.
It's crazy, man. I'm just thinking, like, when I was away from the tablet, I'm just thinking about, like, damn, back to back, we lost Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, me and Josh, were speculating, like, please don't let it be like suicide or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying I'm glad he passed, and I'm glad it's nothing drug related or taking his own life.
Right.
Too many wrestling families have somebody who took their own life. The Von Erichs and the Armstrongs in particular.
Yeah.
Each
The
of them
Von
lost.
Erichs is
Each of
really
them lost.
sad.
Huh?
That Von Erich's story is pretty sad.
That's really.
Oh, it's pretty sad. Especially how the oldest died, David, and then was it Kerry took his own life,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the others, Mike and everybody. But the only one still alive is Kevin, the barefooted warrior.
And it's funny because, people don't understand how he has to live with that. Like, all my brothers are gone.
Yeah.
I mean, he sold.
I think Carrie's daughter's wrestling now.
No, she was Lacey. She was wrestling for Impact, and she was part of a stable called the Beautiful People, and she left after some time, and now she's started a family, and she has a family now and moved on.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the Von Erichs, man, that was, they had some high highs, and I mean, when they were in World Championship Wrestling, and when they were in Texas, boy, they were gods.
World Class Championship. No, that was World Class Championship Wrestling. That was their own promotion. You said World Champ. You said World Championship.
WCW.
You said WCCW.
Yeah. Speaking of that, everybody always talking about how Vince McMahon put all the territories out of business, and I was watching that interview with him and Stone Cold. He said, "No, they put themselves out of it. Because you got to remember, most of those dudes had more money than me, and they still went under."
Yeah.
Especially those who are affiliated with NWA, because I remember it was like Gorilla Monsoon who said this. What happened was in 1982, Sam Munchnick got a hold of Treasury and just took the money and left.
Yeah.
Kind of screwed everybody over. Kind of screwed a lot of people over that way.
Yeah, that's what Jim Ross said. People were getting screwed over before Vince really came in.
Not to mention, this is when cable TV started becoming big, and he was expanding. And the only person who could compete with him was Jim Crockett. But unfortunately, Crockett didn't.
He didn't.
Things didn't work out for Crockett.
He didn't.
He couldn't evolve, and then he ended up selling it to Ted Turner. And
Give Ted Turner.
He gave it to Ted Turner. Ted Turner turned into WCW.
WCW.
TBS was a lot. I mean, Turner broadcasted. TBS. That's what gave WCW's lifeline, because they had a permanent cable broadcaster.
Mhm.
WWF, they were like looking for broadcasters worldwide. Say nationwide, excuse me.
And
Yeah,
you
I
got
miss Gorilla. I remember Gorilla Monsoon.
him and
Yeah, He died,
He was
he
a
died in
character.
'99, right?
Yeah, 99.
Yeah.
him and the Brain were classic.
Oh yes, Bobby. He
Will
died a
you
few years
stop?
ago.
You
Uh,
know, sorry,
Yeah,
I had to say that because I remember.
Bobby was. I have to agree with Jim Cornette. With the exception of maybe Paul Heyman, Bobby the Brain was probably the best man of all time.
yeah, I mean, you gotta think about it, right?
Mhm.
When you look at pro wrestling, um, a lot of pro wrestling did not evolve. A lot of those guys did not evolve. They didn't. They wanted to do things the old way
Hmm.
because the old way gave a lot of control to the promoter.
Right.
Yeah.
When if you share some of the money and the likeness to people, like a lot of people don't know, John Cena doesn't even own the name John Cena. His actual birth name, he does not own.
They tried that shit. WWE tried that shit with Rachel Green.
And he's okay with it. He's like, they made me who I am today, and I can make money because of that. And a lot of shit you got to remember when what was it? The AWA had
Hmm.
Hogan first. They fired him. I mean, Vince Senior fired him. He went to AW when he came doing the movie. And because he was so staunch of anything, look at Vince. If Vince see you in a movie, Vince like, we gonna promote that shit.
Hmm.
And Vince was a visionary. People couldn't see what Vince saw.
Yep.
Nope.
And that's why, a lot of stuff is stagnant. Because it reminds me of what I told somebody about Kevin Samuels. There was a reason why Kevin's the one who went to $1 million. And it's because you couldn't say anything really bad about Kevin.
Hmm.
You can't say that he wasn't educated. You can't say that he wasn't tall. He didn't have the traditional handsome guy look. He
Yep.
was, no woman wanted him. He was married twice. Nobody, you couldn't say too much about the guy. Then on top of that, the classic guy he talked about resonated to women.
Oh yeah.
What the women still in their brains didn't get is that why would that guy choose you? Like you, at some point, you have to say, why would that guy choose you?
Hmm.
Look at it this way. Why would Phil Jackson want to coach you? No, no. This is how I said it. A lot of women think they have the longevity of Robert Parrish, but unfortunately, they got the body of Sean Kemp. Especially, when he got bloated after leaving Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Or even worse, Kevin Duckworth, God rest his soul. 6'10", and he blew up to like 300 pounds, especially after retirement. Wow.
Mm.
A lot of people don't understand that. I've talked to women all the time about it, even people I personally know. When they get out of relationships and marriages, I'm going to have a guy who wants it. I said, okay, you're pushing 40, if not over 40, in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of cases. And you want a guy to pay more than what you expect your ex-husband to pay when he had you at your prom.
Now, Charles, don't talk about Taylor Mallory like that. Oops, I said that out loud.
Think about it. Tia Murray doesn't realize something. She upped her ex-husband's stock.
Pretty much.
You
Yeah.
can't let a wild stallion get out there and they get a taste of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. And then now she's doing this thirst traps because she thinks these women are convinced that I could do what the men do. You think Lala Anthony is anything without Carmelo?
Nope.
Here's the part.
Nah.
Let's say she does get married again.
That'd be a hell of
To
a shit,
who?
but okay.
After what Beyonce's mom did? No, hell no. Nobody want to be somebody else's sloppy seconds.
Nobody's gonna put up with that shit again.
She better go beg that man for his forgiveness, but okay, but that's not gonna happen.
Nah.
Not smart
She
enough.
took everything from him. So he's like, you know what? Go on. Go live
Yeah,
your life.
BGS
I'm good.
had me dying laughing on Saturday. Like, cause I asked her, what is wrong with her? And he's like, you want the straight up answer? Like, yeah, she's a dumb bitch. I was like, damn.
She's not even Ado. She's Rican. Afro Latina.
No, isn't she half white?
Lala? No, she's
Oh no, Lala.
no, she's
Okay,
Puerto
Lala
Rican.
might be. I'm talking about Tia Mallory.
Lala, no, Tia is father's white, mother's Ados.
Father
The
must have
tragic
some bimbos
mulatto.
on his. Yeah, Father must have some bimbos on his side. 'Cause that's what she act like.
She's
Well,
actually
you
they're
gotta
like
think
what,
that's the
born again or
problem.
something like that, but
Well, that's the problem with like being a child star.
oh yeah.
That's the problem with being a child star is that many a times they don't know how proper relationships are supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Talking about I graduated from my marriage. I was like, huh? I was like, ooh. I was like, Lord, I'm supposed to take this seriously?
This is
I mean, at most, Tila's gonna be a jump off to somebody, but that's about it.
Even tomorrow was like, stop it, you're doing too much. I mean,
Mm-hmm. See, tomorrow I'm married to that white dude, and them white dudes operate differently. They don't allow their women to do all that crazy shit that black women be doing to black men.
no.
Don't get talking to or get cheated on, whichever one comes first.
So go
White
upside
dudes
your
don't
damn
even
head.
yeah, white men supposedly don't cheat.
Supposedly.
How do we know? I said supposedly. I said
Okay.
supposedly.
Okay. Fair
I
enough.
said
They cheat like
supposedly.
I finished it. Them dudes cheat like
Shit.
a motherfucker.
I know. That's why I said supposedly.
a motherfucker, boy.
That's
She
why I be
not
laughing at
cared.
these events. I'm like, oh, go on over there. Go on over there. They can have
You
you.
gonna be the side chick. I mean, you gonna be what's the song I'm looking for? You're gonna be act you're gonna you're gonna be acting like you like Luther Vandross when he did the song called Secret Love when he said, "Nah, I can't be like that." But
What
unfortunately, you're gonna be like that. It's either that or you're gonna be singing R. Kelly's "Down Low."
what did
Well, that's because he's gonna convince you that way.
what
Shit.
did Mrs. Cartwright tell that heifer? You the side piece. He don't want to be seen with you.
You know what? There was shit. I wish if only Z were here. But then again, in Florida, they got bad coverage. Yeah, I'm low key hating South Florida for a bit here, playfully. But there was that old George Carlin bit about the classes. You got the upper class, you got the middle class, and then you got the poor people. So this, I'm gonna parallel that. I'm gonna see the parallel between that
Yeah, I'll
and this
catch you
one
later,
episode of
Charles.
this. That put you to sleep? Am I that damn boring?
No, no, it's time for me to go to sleep.
Yeah. Shit, it's almost
It's almost 2 o'clock.
yeah. Yeah, it's almost 8 a.m. here, and I gotta be out in a bit. Get ready for shit.
Oh wow,
I'll be
you up
ready for
early?
an hour. Well, I gotta take care of a few things, and I gotta take I gotta take an hour-long bus just to go to the next town to do what I need to do.
Oh wow. Well, have a good one.
Ah, don't worry. I mean, the view's gonna be good. The view's fun. It's just good to be out of this small town I live in. Need a breather. See some familiar faces. Anyway, you're the side bitch, but here's the thing about the side piece you gotta understand. There's the wife, and the wife is aware, or at least suspects is aware about the side chick or the mistress. She doesn't know her by face or in person, but she knows of her existence. And so the wife is going to do everything she can do to keep her position because the side piece is hoping to be elevated to wife status. But here's the problem, especially if we're talking about those high value dudes. And I'm sure the divestors are listening to this, so shut up. This doesn't involve you. But he's going to have a girlfriend or some other chicks he's also seeing. The reason he's seeing them is so as to make sure, as the side piece, you know your place. Because nobody's position is secure. I mean, Whitney Houston had a song with what's her face, Deborah Cox. Same script, different characters. Basically, in that song, Whitney used to be the wife, but her man had Deborah Cox as a side piece. So after Whitney breaks up with her man, Deborah Cox gets elevated. And then Whitney just looks at her and lets her know, hey, turnabout's fair play. He cheated on me with you. What makes you think he won't cheat on you with somebody else? It's a good song. Same script, different characters.
Pretty much.
I
Shit,
mean,
pretty damn much.
pretty damn much. I mean, but this is not like I'm not just. I mean, it takes two people to cheat, but I'm just saying it's like, yeah,
A lot of people haven't figured
understand.
shit out yet.
Some women have a lot of hubris and thinking, hey, I'm better than her. I hope she fuck up so I can be enough in that position. Yeah, but you gotta understand, lady, when you upgraded from girlfriend to side piece slash mistress, and then you get upgraded to wife status,
That's real.
every position, yeah, because there's a lot of women who are side pieces who wish to be the wife, but then again, there's some women who have no problem being the side piece because that's what they're meant to be. I mean, you ever heard of a woman being described as other woman pretty or mistress pretty?
Of course.
It's not that yeah. I mean, there's some chicks who are mistress pretty. You look at them, you see them with the man, you don't think that's the main squeeze. You think that's the side piece, and there's something about her that lets you know she's just a side piece. She's not qualified to be a wife. I mean, you put her in that position, she's just gonna cause havoc. She aspires to be the wife, but she's not qualified for it.
Some people think they're Carmilla.
Wait, they're who?
Carmilla.
Oh. Oh man. Doesn't matter. Are we talking about a dude here whose knuckles say are tattooed the word "stay down"?
Well, that's the only
Corey
time.
Graves, Corey Graves, his knuckles say "stay down."
Stay down.
Oh man,
Stay down. Well,
stay down.
you got to think about Carmilla. One of the few people. Yeah, she may be called Queen Carmilla now, but if Diana was still in the picture, wouldn't be her. Right?
Oh, Camilla.
Camilla. Yeah,
Camilla Parker Bowles. You're talking about? Sorry.
Camilla. Yeah, Queen Camilla.
Oh, I thought you meant Carmella. I was
No,
thinking WWE.
I mean
Camilla Parker Bowles.
you got to you got to think about it. Like that's the only time in history you can in modern history you can think of the side bitch being elevated,
Hmm.
and that's because it was thought to be.
And the fact that Princess Di was willing to walk away because she
That
knew
says
what
a lot.
that says a lot. It said a lot, but she also knew that she had a profound effect on her sons because her sons. I mean, let's face it, neither of them wants a relationship with Camilla. In fact, the Crown Prince has made it abundantly clear to his children never to call Camilla grandma. She is not their grandmother. They only have one grandmother.
Pretty much. And the way things went down with them, they really don't like her.
Well, of course, this was a mistress that father had while still married to their mother, and that family is a complete disaster right now, especially with one of the sons. How did the spare fuck up? But I know how. I understand how that was happened, how that came about. But you had a prince, but you fucked it up. And I ain't naming your name because I ain't giving you that giving you that attention. Although you crave all that attention, you narcissistic piece of shit.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people are turning over. This bitch get to be queen? What the fuck?
Mm. I don't think she's officially queen, but now she is queen, or is it queen consort?
Yeah, she's the queen consort.
Yeah, not official, but that doesn't mean she's necessarily the queen. But
She's a queen. She just doesn't rule outright like
yeah.
Charles's mother Elizabeth did.
Well, she didn't really rule outright. She was a figurehead of state.
Yeah, she's the head of state. She rules outright. It's just that people don't understand that they hold a
Yeah,
lot of power. She has a lot of power,
a lot of influence.
a lot of influence, a lot of power,
Hmm.
and they just it's like, for example, we rarely get to see American presidents use their total power, right?
Hmm.
So it's the same thing with them. I'm not gonna do the day-to-day shit. I'm gonna do the ceremonial shit. Can
Like
does
in
she have
certain prime example of that would be like Portugal, Italy, who else was Greece. Their head of state is a president, but the head of government is a prime minister. Same thing in
yeah,
Israel, India, Pakistan, who are basically technically republics, but they have the parliamentary style government. So they have a president who's a ceremonial, but the president also,
Just like good.
the president can also have influence on formation of governments, especially during election, national elections, that is. I mean, the president, especially
Think about it.
when a prime minister has to step down, when he and his cabinet have to give the resignations, they give it to the president, and he officially has to call for snap elections.
Think about it.
Mhm.
The King and Queen of England can dismiss the Prime Minister. Those
Ask
are
for his
powers they
resignation.
have. They just, yep. And they don't
did so recently.
utilize. Huh?
They did so recently.
Yeah. Because, Charles didn't like her. She didn't care for her. As soon as she knew the Queen died, she was like, I gotta resign. this motherfucker gonna make my life a living hell.
Oh, he can make a motherfucker's life a living hell. Even though the prime minister may have to remind him, sir, your majesty, I understand your position, but understand I still have to run this country at the day to day. But will Charles stay within the boundaries? I mean, as a constitutional monarchy, there are specific boundaries he cannot cross.
Yeah.
Easier said than done, though.
It's like, think of it like a officer and enlisted.
Mm-hmm.
The company commander and the first sergeant. Who runs the damn company? The first sergeant.
Yep.
But who's in command? Who's responsible? The commander.
CEO.
So think of it that way. Like, yep. A lot of people once they figure out that concept, they got it.
Is that chain of command?
Just like Parliament's not going to overstep their boundaries with the president.
Mm-hmm. Or like inside in a corporation.
Yeah.
You have the CEO, especially if it's a publicly traded company, you have the CEO, right? And his executives. However, there is a group of people they are beholden to.
The board.
That's the board of directors. And they're headed by one man who is the chairman of the board. And these are people elected from among the shareholders or stockholders. And they decide whether or not to invest or to go on board or go against the CEO's direction. If they don't agree with the direction that the company's going under the current CEO, they can ask for his resignation. I mean, who else is like that? Certain religious organizations, they have a ruling council. They have one head, but there's a ruling council. If there's an issue among them,
I mean,
they're gonna know him out.
Look at Iran for example.
Ayatollah.
The Ayatollah is the head of state. The president is
The head of government.
Yeah. President is the Ayatollah is the head of state. President's the head of government, and there have been times when the Ayatollah had the president under house arrest.
That was insane.
I mean, what was that guy named Ahmadinejad?
Ahmadinejad?
Yeah. He was a crazy dude, boy.
Oh no, he was ballsy. He was little, but he was ballsy, controversial.
We don't have gay people over here. I was like, I wonder why. You either run them out the
Uh,
country or you execute them.
no, actually, a lot. Actually, you go back to the days of Ruhollah Khomeini, not Ali Khamenei, but his predecessor, Ruhollah Khomeini. Um, and I remember Monster Brownie had some jokes about this. What happens is like, gay people, what they do is like some kind of dog days afternoon. A gay couple have decided among themselves which one will have to undergo a transition. Because a lot of people don't know there are a lot of transgenders in Iran.
You said there's a lot of them in Iran.
Transgenders, yes. Most of them are gay men who were told that, it's either execution or undergo a sex change.
Jesus Christ.
And apparently it was a transgender who gave this who had a conversation with the Ayatollah himself, and an edict was passed about that. By the way, that's what a fatwa is, folks, an edict, religious edict or judgment.
And people forget. People forget what the proper name of Iran is. The Islamic Republic
Public
of
since
Iran.
1979.
The Islamic Republic of Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And people forget that, which is respect to Iran, because they have one of the world's best wrestling teams. I mean, it's really, for the most part, for years, it's been a three-way split. U.S., Russia, and Iran. When it came to freestyle Greco-Roman, those are the three best countries. You'll have other countries here and there, but consistently it's going to be those three countries who are in the contention.
Iran has a long history of grappling.
It's
Going back to the ancient Achaemenid Empire.
It's their national sport. So if you ever want to make
it is also.
If you ever want to make it out the hood, you don't play basketball or football, you wrestle with Iran.
Well, actually, the Sheikh said it best. He said only two sports if you want to do it. It was either wrestling or football or soccer.
Yeah.
A lot of kids would gravitate to soccer, but there were plenty who gravitated to wrestling. I mean, there's so many Olympic gold medalists from Iran. Some of them were not called heroes, but they were national heroes in more ways than one. Some were like, unifiers, very influential. And what was it? I forgot where he was a former champion, Olympic champion. He practiced the grappling art of Palivig, which means, that's where if you remember, the Iron Sheik used to do those exercises with the clubs or the Persian meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this guy was I forgot his name. I think Hossein Ali Reza, I think was his name. Or Mir Reza, something like that. He was an Olympian, but he knew the importance of honor. Like they said, like in one of the world championships, he defeated an opponent, right? But this man's conduct and a sense of righteousness was just so amazing, because after he defeated his opponent, he noticed his opponent's mother was crying. So after the match, he went over to that man's mother. He shook her hand and said, "Your son is a great man. Do not weep." Another case was his coach noticed that like his opponent had a bad knee, but he refused to go after that knee. There was a sense of honor and dignity he wanted to uphold, which was some of the principles of Pahlavi. Charles, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you good to go.
Okay. Sometimes I don't know because sometimes it goes radio silence.
I'm just listening.
Yeah, but
I've looked at a lot
just
of
to yeah.
looked at a lot of
But this guy was. Go ahead.
looked at a lot of training videos for those guys, and when you look up a lot of their training techniques with clubs, think about it. Kettlebells was the Russian secret, the Soviet secret. Every
Alexander,
you know,
Alexander Karelin and anybody?
everybody now you see a lot of Americans and everybody else use them. Just like the clubs, the Persian clubs were a secret of training. Now you see a lot of you seen Jordan Burroughs use it. So
Shit, there's this Georgian, Rezan Nazarjay or something like that, his name. He's Greco-Roman heavyweight, 5'9", bulk up, huge traps, biceps. The routines he does with the kettlebells is just ridiculous. And he's Greco-Roman. Those Greco-Roman guys, they're built differently. And that's for a reason. I mean,
yeah, I mean they're built like people don't forget how you got to have great upper body. My coach used to tell me if you're gonna do Greco, you have to have great upper body strength. And I think it's hard for a lot of Americans to do because we're so folk style, freestyle based. And I can frankly say this: you don't see a lot of dudes developing their upper body strength anymore like that.
not like that. Not to mention they're shorter. They have a lower center of gravity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at WWE. A lot of the guys were like freestyle wrestlers, but Otis Dozovich, his
Otis was
background was
go.
Greco-Roman.
Otis was Greco, and so was what's his name? The guy they got with him. He's a Greco.
Oh, Chad Gable. Chad Gable.
Yeah, he's a Greco guy.
And the dude's strength is ridiculous.
Yeah, you could tell.
He's deceptively strong.
What did I tell you about Greco guys, man? If there's one person you don't want to fight, it's a Greco guy.
And oh man, I remember he used to pretzel and stretch dudes in NXT when he was with Jason Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
That was scary.
You gotta
But
think
because oh, go ahead.
when you think he's done that many a times, do that bridging suplex. That's a Greco move. Like that's an international wrestling move because you're trying to throw. You're trying to get the points and turn the guy to his back. Sometimes you got to just pick him up dead weight and just throw him over.
Suplex him. I mean,
I'll agree with you. He's very deceptively strong.
He is deceptively strong. It's just like what's his name, Jack Swagger. If you remember him,
Mm-hmm.
who now goes by his real name, Jake Hager. You look at his size. You don't think he's that tall, but he's deceptively larger than he's deceptively big, as Steven Regal once said. You look at him, you don't think much of him, but when you come face to face with him, you're like, God damn, this guy's bigger than I thought. Even though he's like, he's a All-American out of Oklahoma. He graduated from Oklahoma. That's his home state. In fact, he's in alumnus with Dr. Des Steve Williams. Oklahoma. I mean, then again, you got Randy Couture, Randy Couture, Don Fry, Mark Munoz, what's his name? Johnny Hendricks, Daniel Cormier, all came out of Oklahoma State, just like the Briscoe brothers. I mean, that's like one of the greatest wrestling universities, greatest wrestling programs in college. But then again, you also got, especially when MMA champions, you got like Michael Chandler, Tyron Woodley, Van Askren, all out of Missouri. Oh, I forgot to mention King Mo. He came out of OSU as well.
Yeah.
Muhammad Lawal. And you know how King Mo was back in when he was in OSU?
Oh yeah.
He had golden shoes. He had golden shoes when he wrestled.
Now you got
Must have
Jordan.
been inspired. He was inspired by what's his name, Michael Johnson.
Yeah. You got to thank Jordan Burroughs. His Instagram and his Twitter or X, whatever the hell they call it now.
And it's called X.
His Twitter feed is called All I See Is Gold. And for a long time, that's all he seen was gold.
Yeah. I mean,
Any last thoughts?
just that y'all ain't shit, and God bless y'all for it. And all I can say is I know we're all frustrated. Like I have to remind myself anytime I go through some shit. I have to remind myself it's just temporary. This shall pass. Just grit your teeth and bear.
On that note, R.I.P. Terry Funk and R.I.P. folks. Salute and prayers to both of their families. We out.
Ooh yeah.